All right. Welcome to Fantastic Feelings and Where to Find Them. Feelings with the Geekiary special webcast. I'm Tara. I'm here with fellow host Vaughn and special guest Fareed and Jesse, and hopefully Jamie as well, if she is able to get her internet connection fixed. Google Hangouts has done a lot of updates lately, and I've been having problems with it. I can't, even get my little intro thing at the base of the screen to turn on. So, hey, if you know anything about that and can help me out, hit a girl up. Anyway, so yeah, we're fans. We have a lot of fantastic Beast feelings, and this is where we're webcasting about them.
All right. Well, I guess a friendly reminder that this is also a podcast, so please subscribe to us on iTunes so you don't miss any of our feelings. And if you're listening to this as a podcast, please remember that this is recorded live, so we're not sure what's going to happen. Please forgive us any technical difficulties or accidental swears, or maybe not so accidental. We don't know how it's going to go. You can join the conversation with hashtag Geekiary Feelings. Come on, how will we know we're wrong if you don't tell us?
All right. We'd like to remind all of you that the views expressed on this webcast are those of the hosts as individuals, and do not necessarily represent the Geekiary or the webcast itself as a whole. Additionally, for this particular webcast, it will be spoiler heavy. So if you have not seen Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, you are watching this at your own risk. Just like if you read an article that has a spoiler warning at the top, you can't get mad at the person who wrote it for spoiling things.
Well, you can, but it's kind of stupid.
I guess can't is not the right word. You can feel however you want, but that doesn't mean you're right. Anyway, so introductions. It looks Jamie's kind of there. Can we hear you, Jamie?
Yeah, is that turning on?
Hey, at least we can hear you. I mean, we've got your pretty picture. So introductions, real quick. I'll go first, and then we'll do Vaughn, Fareed, Jamie, and Jesse. Well, if Jamie, she's here. I'm one of the usual hosts of Feelings with the Geekiary. We did take the month of October off, so it's been a while. But welcome back if you watch our regular monthly webcasts. Vaughn.
Hi, I'm Vaughn. I am one of the regulars on here. So if you stumbled on this and you want to watch other videos of my beautiful face or Tara's beautiful face, then you should totally check them out. And I love Harry Potter, so that's why I'm here.
Okay, my name is Fareed, and I also write for the Geekiary, and I'm kind of a fan of Harry Potter, and yeah, that's why I'm here as well.
Hi, I got my camera working. I'm Jamie. I also write for the Geekiary, and I am also a giant fan of Harry Potter. Hence my shirt.
Hufflepuff.
And hi, I'm Jesse. I don't write for the Geekiary. I'm just friends with Tara. I've been a Harry Potter fan since 2003. And I'm not wearing a Harry Potter shirt. It's Star Wars.
I was wearing Captain America earlier. I changed specifically for this, and you can't even really see my shirt.
I was Star Wars, and I put this on. So it's in case anybody didn't see it, Hufflepuff Badger's got to rep my house for a movie that finally had a.
How about Doctor Who? So.
Anyway, so real quick, don't forget to check out thegeekiary.com. That's GeekiAry, thegeekiary.com for all of our Harry Potter coverage. Most recently, there's been a little bit of Fantastic Beast news here and there. I did write a review of the movie and the Fantastic Beast screenplay. And Vaughn also recently reviewed both the script and actual live play for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. So if you go to our website and just search Harry Potter or J.K. Rowling, all of our recent coverage will come up. Yay. So yeah. The newsy bit of Fantastic Beasts is the box office results. So it was number one for this past weekend, not surprising at all, I don't think. It was $140 or $180 million budget I wrote 180.
180.
It was 180. Okay,
180.
I was questioning myself.
Yeah, 180.
So they only made $75 million. You know, but they I don't know. Warner Brothers is saying that was kind of what they expected. It still leaves Fantastic Beasts at the very bottom of the list for opening weekend results for all of the Wizarding World films. Do you guys think that matters?
No, I mean, it still made $75 million in its opening weekend. Like,
Yeah.
this is not a box office failure. Like,
I'd also like to see the numbers for all the merchandise that was released this weekend, like in conjunction with it. I ain't gonna lie, I have Queenie's coat.
I don't have this stuff, but I will at one point.
I think the worldwide box office is currently at 220 million
Oh wow.
for this film. So
Yeah,
it's doing good worldwide.
yeah, it's gonna do great. It's gonna make money.
Definitely.
Like, it's a surefire hit.
Yeah, and this is
Yeah,
Thanksgiving weekend here in the States, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of people going to the movies this weekend.
It's
Yeah, I'm
gonna
kind of
be, like a lot younger, I think, with all the kids out of school, because everybody else, because as they pointed out in a bunch of articles, like everybody who went to this one was like between the ages of like 18 and 40. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually kind of surprised they opened it the weekend before Thanksgiving rather than giving it that big Thanksgiving
Yeah.
opening. But I don't know, maybe for all I know, like when I was young, I don't know how close you guys are in age to me, but like when I was young, Thanksgiving, like Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, was like the big day to open big movies. But
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe recently it seems like, and Christmas Day was one too, but like lately, the past couple of years, they're taking these huge movies and releasing them the weekend before the big holiday. So I wonder if there was like some sort of study done or something. I don't know. I'm interested in weird things like that.
I think that with this, it's a surefire. Like, the opening weekend, you're gonna get the fans.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe they wanted to have that in the second weekend so they could keep it up there. Like,
That makes sense.
because like these people, like the ones that saw it this weekend, were gonna go see it.
Right. Yeah.
Like all of us, we were gonna go see it. Like, there was no way that was not gonna happen. You know.
Yeah, and I technically didn't pay, so
Oh.
Yeah. I paid. And to be honest, like, but it was for an advanced screening. It was with a local Harry Potter fan club group
you
type
had to pay?
thing. Well, yeah, they rented out the theater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there you still had to pay like a ticket price. And I've gone to screeners before. It's different in like not major cities. You know, I went to screeners in Greenville, like early screeners for some pretty big movies back in the day, but we always had to pay whatever the ticket price was. Because it's not, you know, it's not a big theater. They're not getting this like screening copy for free or anything like that. But yeah, the problem was it was an IMAX showing, obviously, and we got stuck in the first row.
Ooh.
So that movie left me with one hell of a headache. And I'm
Yeah.
glad I read the screenplay after it, because there were definitely things I missed because I was constantly like craning my neck, like going back and forth. So anyway.
This is
Go
an
ahead.
interesting question. The midnight screenings. Did anyone go to the midnight screenings?
I went
Nah.
to like 8 p.m., which was, I guess, close enough.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. They don't have like they still have midnight screenings, but they start at
It's
7.
not the same.
Yeah, it's not the first screening. It's
It's
Oh,
not
so
Lord of the
your
Rings.
midnight screenings are not the first screening.
they used to be. For the longest time they were. Like I went and saw the last Harry Potter film, like part 2 of Deathly Hallows. I went to a midnight screening, but that was 2011, and I haven't been to a midnight screening since then, I don't think. So I don't know how soon after that they stopped having the first screening be midnight, but if they were to do that now, it would be midnight on a Wednesday. Instead, they're showing movies, you know, starting at like 7 p.m. on Thursday, the day before they technically open.
Oh, okay.
I think the first time I saw that was they did it with Parts of the Caribbean, the second one, I think, or the third one in 2007, and that was weird. And I was like, 7 o'clock for it's really weird. But
that sounds familiar, probably, because there was definitely I saw all but the first Pirates movie at midnight screenings, but I do remember seeing one opening day, like on Thursday, at a not midnight screening. So yeah, like a few years ago or whatever, it changed. But
I think that sucks a bit. I mean, the midnight screenings, like I didn't go this time, but I've been to them before, and I do it for Star Wars, obviously. And I like the kind of camaraderie and the kind of like the effort it takes to stay up that late and go out on a work night and do this ridiculous thing.
yeah, I couldn't do that now, to be honest. So I'm happy for these 7 p.m. screenings. Like I did do that, you know, in 2011 when I went to the midnight screening of Harry Potter. I had to get up at 7 o'clock the next morning and go to work all day, and it was miserable. And that was 2011, so I was 28-ish, something like that. Once you hit 30, man, it all goes downhill.
Yeah. Yes. Anybody that's not 30 yet, I agree with that.
So anyway, outside of box office stuff, midnight screenings, that's kind of the blah 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 boring stuff. We'll move into just general discussion.
So, well, I mean, before like we get into anything, I'm just gonna like throw it out there. Did you guys like the movie?
I did.
In general, I did. Yes, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, generally liked it. It was an enjoyable movie, but I didn't love it.
Yeah,
Like it was kind of forgettable.
I
At least for me.
actually liked it more the second time, but not like the first one. I liked it, but the second time I liked it more.
I imagine I'd probably feel the same way. When I first got out of it, we were driving home, and I was like, I just don't know what to say. And Brian's like trying to talk to me about it, and I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like I have no brain. But like Fareed said, I enjoyed watching it. Is it like some great, like, did it make me feel like Harry Potter made me feel back in the day? No.
That's how I feel. Yeah, I think I wrote like my tweet review was that it was fun but forgettable, which is exactly what I don't really remember much from it. Like after it happens, like I'm not rushing out to see it again, but I enjoyed it as I was watching it.
I would see it again if I have the time to go see a movie and there's like nothing else playing within the next couple weeks or something before Rogue One. Like I would maybe go see it again, but for me it would be more to get a better freaking seat. Because I know that there are definitely visual things that I, missed out on, and it's kind of part of the reason why when I wrote about it I didn't say much about the visuals, because like a lot of what I saw I really liked, but I think I probably could have extolled their virtues a lot more if I'd had a better view.
All right.
I'm really interested in what?
No, you go.
I'm really interested in reading the opening credits when they were showing newspaper clippings, and I guess when it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray, I'm really going to pause it and like read all the stuff.
Yeah,
I'm more
those
interested
went
in
by so
reading
fast.
that content.
Yeah, the script
It went by so fast.
the script helps with them a little bit. It doesn't have them all, but it like summarizes a couple of them. So, and the ones that it summarizes definitely add a little bit more to the story as a whole. If you haven't read the script and you have the money to buy it, I do suggest reading it, because I think actually reading the script made me look back at the movie with a little bit more fondness.
I've bought it. I haven't read it yet, but I look forward to reading it.
Yeah, same here. I have it, but I haven't read it. I wanted to read it before the webcast, but then I was like, meh, leave it. I'll read it afterwards.
So yeah. So we all feel kind of about the same way, like we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It had its faults, but we'll talk about those. So yeah, we could just dive in. Honestly, like we all added, notes to lists of things to talk about. First and foremost, Queenie and Jacob are best. That's from me. That's a direct.
Yeah, so
that's a direct
why
quote.
don't we like start then with what we liked about the movie?
Okay. Queenie and
Obviously.
Jacob. I mean, also though, and I just wrote a news article about this because Newt Scamander, they announced, is not going to be the main character in like all the films, pretty much like most of the films, like starting as soon as the next one, we aren't going to see as much of him, I think, is the way it was worded. I really did like him. I have seen some things where people are like, I'm kind of glad he's not going to be the big main character because like he didn't really seem like he could carry a franchise type of thing. He was self-conscious and preferred to be with his creatures, and it's kind of like those are the things I liked about him because I think we have enough perfect like chosen one heroes.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's really a comparison per se, but it's like Rey. Like Rey from Star Wars has a lot of social awkwardness and like not knowing how to deal with feelings and stuff like that. And I don't know. To say that he couldn't carry a franchise makes me sad because I thought it was refreshing to have something.
I mean, the only thing that can't carry the franchise is the title name, is the name of the movie. Like that thing, like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them Part 2, Fantastic Beasts, Where to Find Them Part 3, like that title can't carry a franchise as far as I'm concerned. But Newt can.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to call the sequel?
Yeah. I don't know. Fantastic Beasts and something.
Yeah, what? Like, and then the part 3, and then part 4, and then part 5. Like the title, it doesn't work for me.
Fantastic Beasts and the duel between Dumbledore and Grindelwald.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna be.
Fantastic Beasts and the Wizard named Hitler.
I wonder if they made that decision before or after the election. Anyway, let's not get into that. No, what other things did people like other than Queenie and Jacob are best and that Newt is a pretty good hero?
The beasts. That was my favorite part of the movie. I thought they were like when Newt was with the beasts and when they were chasing the beasts stole the show. I think they were the best part, and there should have been more of that and less of whatever convoluted mess the rest of it was.
Yeah, the Niffler. I loved the Niffler. Like,
so cute.
Yes,
he's BB-8. He is this movie's BB-8.
Just without all the
not quite on that level, but like that's what he is.
I liked all of them. I thought they were great, and I'm a big fan of the beasts. And the movie should have been more about the beasts and Newt being like super nerdy and loving his beast.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the moment when he is explaining to Jacob why he does what he does, I'm just like, I obviously I've fostered a lot of animals. All my pets are rescue animals. I'm sitting in there in the theater. That is the only part of the movie that truly like got me. I'm sitting there in the theater thinking, this guy is such a Hufflepuff, and like, oh my God, I love the way he's talking about these animals. And then like just tears just very silently rolling slowly down my cheeks.
Honestly,
it was like the most dramatic thing possible. And I'm sitting there staring straight ahead like, please nobody see the fact that they're just tears slowly, like so like stupidly, like what you read in a book, tears trickling down my cheeks. Like it got me.
That was you and Adam both.
Because I'm thinking, when he's talking about his animals, I'm thinking of all of mine. I'm thinking of, the puppies I've fostered that have found homes, and I'm thinking of like bringing home my dogs and like how much I love them and how like I would be that person too who would find this wild animal and like save it and like want to return it to its home. I've done that before. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was the only bits that kind of connected with me personally. Anyway, yeah, the same.
I think you kind of, if you're an animal person, how could they not?
I mean, I think it was that too, and I think it was the only part that kind of made sense, like character-wise, and gave anyone any depth they spent a lot of time on those beasts, obviously, because
Well,
they
and
mattered. Yeah.
And it wasn't just Newt that those scenes gave depth to. They gave a lot of it to Jacob as well. Because he's like clearly nervous, but also astounded by what he's seeing. And, you know, Newt's kind of like, here, take this, hold this. This is your alchemy. Oh, go feed those moon calves over there. And Jacob's just like,
Okay.
you know, he's a little bit surprised at first, but then when nothing bad is happening, he kind of realizes, okay, I'm safe in here with Newt, with these creatures, and he's just in awe of the whole thing. And it's like what every freaking muggle, so I used to call them nomads, would be like if we got drawn into that case.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He is literally the everyman, and he like it's portrayed very well.
All right. Anyone else got any?
Yeah,
favorite?
specific things.
I did. Oh, I like the costumes. I mean, I thought they really did a good job on the wardrobe.
Well, Colleen Atwood, man, she is amazing in and of herself.
Has she done other Harry Potter films?
I think this is her first Harry Potter film, but she's done like all the Tim Burton stuff.
Yeah.
She's just so good. So good.
Which is interesting because like I don't see, you know, like Tim Burton, his movies have a very specific sense of style in like every way possible. And I didn't see that in this movie. I mean, I agree that the costumes, one of the things Brian kept talking about was how awesome the oars looked because they looked like Prohibition, you know, cops, basically, like Prohibition, what are they called? Agents. Drawing a blank there. Yeah, Prohibition. He said they looked like Prohibition agents, which of course in the United States, where they're trying to like, you know, just completely and totally hide in plain sight, not only the costumes were great, but it makes sense for like their part of this wizarding world. So
all right, cool. So we've got stuff that we really, really liked. There was some passion there. What about what we didn't like?
Okay. Okay, so like one of the things I put is a theory, but it's not. I mean, I don't know. It's supposedly just a theory, but it's more than a theory, and it ties in with one of my biggest problems with this film is J.K. Rowling recycling storylines. One being Newt Scamander was kicked out of Hogwarts. Why was he kicked out of Hogwarts? For something regarding an attack of a beast. Who tried
on a student?
Yeah, who tried to stop him from being kicked out of Hogwarts? Albus Dumbledore. So like, it's literally like Hagrid's story. And then second, we have what was the other one?
A minister of magic that doesn't really do anything, I would say.
Yeah, there were a billion of them. There were a billion of them.
And Pickery was like, it was the same. They really weren't doing anything, both of them.
Yeah, there were several just recycled storylines from the Harry Potter, you know, the first story from her Wizarding World. And then I love the idea of everything being tied together. It's sort of like reading The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? They take place at two so totally separate times, but they do involve some of the same characters and two different stories in the same world. And there's so much world building and everything. But like Rowling, it's like she does some world building good and some, but then she's the story part of the world building, like wrapping it into the story in an organic way. I just don't feel like.
Generally, I would say that J.K. Rowling, like with the Harry Potter series, is brilliant at world building. Like what she did with Harry Potter was amazing. What she did in this, there was no world building, like zero world building.
Well, and I think that's my thing is it's not that she can't build the world, it's that she has trouble tying the world together in the end, like in an organic way. Like the
I never felt that with Harry Potter though.
I guess I did with like kind of like Tom Riddle's diary was one of those things, and like the Time Turner was one of those things. That it's like to me, that's part of world building, because she used them as major like plot devices, and it's kind of like, yeah,
See, that wouldn't be world building for me. So that would be like plot.
But anyway, theory or not, Ariana Dumbledore was an Obscurus.
Yeah, well, that's obvious.
I think that too.
Yeah.
I think that too. I agree.
I like. Did anybody not have that thought when they were watching the film? Because I've been shocked at the number of people who didn't see it.
I didn't.
I haven't
the first
heard
time,
anyone.
But that's because I was just not even thinking of the 7th movie at all, or the 7th book at all.
The whole explanation of the Obscurus, Yvonne, you said you didn't know this one?
Oh no, I did.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you didn't. So like literally, it's like you hear the explanation of the Obscurus, and it's like whether you get it that moment, or you get it the second time you see it, or you get it after you've seen the movie and then read the script, it's like really freaking clear, I think. You know, and I guess does anybody have an original copy of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them from 1990, or from whenever it was first published? Because
I have one, but I don't know if it's here because I'm at my parents'.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's here or if it's at my place.
That's my problem. Mine is still back in South Carolina, and Brian has one, but it's the reprinted edition in hardcover from 2013, and it mentions Obscurus books in the foreword. That Newt was hired to write Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by Obscurus Books, or Obscurus Publishing.
Yeah.
And online it says that it was in the original version, but I'm not sure I believe that.
Yeah, I mean, mine's from, it might not be the original, but it's definitely from like the early 2000s.
Yeah, that was the original. I couldn't remember exactly when it came out, but thinking about it, it was definitely after Azkaban was published, which would have had to put it after 2000, 2001, whatever. But anyway, so Ariana Dumbledore is an Obscurus, and that I guess this just kind of ties into me originally thinking this was going to be a trilogy, and that it was going to focus on Newt Scamander and like building the world, building the creatures, and then just some of the history. But now I see that it's going to be 5 movies, and that it's more going to be about like this, you know, the first, like this Wizarding World War with Grindelwald. I'm kind of, I don't know. I wanted it to just be this fun frolic and not turn into this sort of like dark mess. And
yeah.
Well, to be fair, Harry Potter is always. I expected it to be political because Harry Potter's always.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know, I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, what I had issues with it was just really poorly done politically. The political stuff was really badly done.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's
I liked the Ariana Dumbledore being an Obscurus. That connection.
It's not something I necessarily dislike. It's just something that I kind of am like, I don't know. I'm wondering if this is something that grew from the first series, or if it's something she's had in her mind all along. But the problem with Rowling is we're never really going to know the truth, because, I mean, when she came out and said Dumbledore was gay and she'd known it all along, I personally don't believe that was actually the case. I think that's something that she discovered about her character later on in her writings, which is fine. Just be honest about it. And I don't think she was. And I'm afraid that she's going to come out and say, oh yeah, since I wrote the first Harry Potter book in the 90s, I've always known that Ariana Dumbledore was this Obscurus thing, and that I was going to include it later. I don't know. That's the part about it that I'm like, eh.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling lies. Yeah, she's not truthful about a lot of things. She just lies, and I'm like, I'm fine with it because I know, like, I kind of know how she is. Like, the whole thing about, what was it? Hermione Granger's like color, and then there was the whole thing about the one thing that Harry showed was that you need to come out of the closet. Like, there was a statement that he gave when asked about whether or not Hogwarts had queer students in it. And I was like, J.K. Rowling, no one really cares. I don't care. Like, you're lying, and you know that you're lying. Like, there aren't any queer people in Hogwarts. Like, They're not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care so much because, like, I mean, I love JK and I think she's great, and I generally like everything she does. But I mean, apart from the latest things, she's got a bit George Lucas. But I don't kind of like. I mean, I've grown up and I just don't buy into the kind of author as God thing that is essentially part of the cult of Harry Potter, where it's like everything JK says is like law and she has to be perfect. And I'm just like, whatever. She's just a writer. Writers say shit. Like that's what they do. They make shit up and they just say shit.
I mean, that's literally what their job is if they're fiction writers. So there's that.
So, I mean, I think everyone kind of takes everything she says a little bit too seriously and a little bit kind of like, which is fine. Like, I don't want to like be that person that's like, don't take it too seriously. But I'm like, it's not part of the story. So just like, let it wash over you. Let it have a big fun. Like, if she says there's queer characters in Hogwarts, you say, yeah, okay, you should probably put some in there. And now that you've had the chance to like write new stories, maybe you could have done that now. But like, what
She could have done it with Kurt's Child. She could have done it with Kurt's Child. Like, she could have done it.
Yeah. She could have done it with this one. Like, I mean, obviously my biggest complaint is that you've got this like story set in like 1920s New York and it's full of white people.
Yeah.
Well, and what someone was saying, it was like
it's supposed to be set in Harlem.
Yeah,
apparently.
that's what I thought.
That is not 1920s Harlem. That's like present day Harlem.
Yeah.
That's why I was really disappointed with the politics of it, I mean, because like JK did such a really good job with like class politics, like British class politics, because obviously it's something she knows really well. Like in the original Harry Potter series, she like nailed that. And then with this, it was just like this kind of wishy-washy kind of light version of like a really serious topic that is actually really relevant for contemporary audiences, and she's not really dealing with it very well.
I mean, because it's hard to know it when you're not part of it at all.
Yeah.
And she's not part of it at all. And and that's someone posted something about the world building in this one being a bit weak. Vaughn, was that you? Because I know you said so. Okay, well, so apparently more than one of you guys, because it wasn't me, thinks that the world building was a bit weak, and that I'm assuming this was, to me, that is like specifically about like MACUSA and the politics and stuff, because it's very much like, okay, so we know wizards are in hiding, we know that they can't have relations with no mages.
But why? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I guess they're basing it on like the Salem witch trials and stuff. Maybe that's like my only thought.
Yeah, but they seem to be like more aware of stuff as well. Like they wear Muggle clothes, or no mage, sorry, but I'm just gonna say Muggle, okay? They wear Muggle clothes. They don't seem shocked. Like there doesn't seem to be like like a Diagon Alley. Like there's no like specifically wizarding areas apart from the kind of ministry area that they had.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. Well, I mean, they were. Go ahead, Jesse. Go ahead.
Well, they're hanging out in Macy's and Central Park. Yeah. Like those are Muggle areas. Why would you let any rumpet run rampant in Central Park? Like I know he's like letting, but why? That's a giant animal.
Yeah, like I mean, surely if there's this like huge thing where they're not allowed to like talk to fucking Muggles, excuse my language.
It was you this time.
Yeah, it's one of us. If they have this thing where they have to talk, like they can't talk to Muggles, surely they would have like separate areas, and they wouldn't be out with Muggles.
Yeah.
But I guess they can just kind of hide in alleyways when they need to do things, because that's pretty much like everything that happens in the movie when they're like, oh, quick, we need to have a conversation so muggles won't hear us, and they like run into a little convenient alley. Seriously, it happened how many times? I don't know. It's a stupid small thing, and I'm not actually that angry about it, but
Well, when you kind of like compound it with all the other stuff, it gets annoying.
Well, I mean, like Jesse said, with the Arampant running around, it's like, okay, so they don't know they clearly know nothing about magical creatures, like, or next to nothing. Like, they don't, the only American animal that they bring, that anybody like names, that anybody from the US, any wizard from the US names, is the Appaloosa Puffskeins. And that's only Tina. And she's like, yeah, like we stopped people from doing that forever ago. Obviously they know like about dragons and stuff, but like they don't really talk at all about creatures. So, but even if they don't know that an Arampant is a thing that exists, they've got that crazy map that shows like crazy magical activity. How does like a giant like rhino hippopotamus creature with a glowing horn not show up on their special map?
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense.
The Ilvermorny houses are named after magical creatures. Are you trying to tell me like that they'd never seen a Thunderbird? I mean, there's a freaking house. I'm a Thunderbird.
Yeah, me too. Whatever, a Thunderbird. I mean, at least we know a little bit more about Thunderbirds now. Thunderbird? Yeah, he was. That's an entirely different appropriation issue that I just don't even want to get into. But yeah, how did they not know? Well, and also on top of it, it's like they're like this is how American wizards are with no mages. No, you can't have any relations with them. Let's like tell people this. Let's just tell them this. It's you know, here it is laid out. This is the way American wizards work with. Exactly. On the other hand, it is so like, what is going on with the goblin, like with the magical beings?
Yeah,
like they clearly have more freedom. They have the goblin singer has a wand.
Okay, yeah, because apparently like there's no racism in wizarding America.
I mean, we say that, but then it's like the goblins we see are a sexy like tavern singer, essentially a mob boss and a bellboy.
Well, yeah,
and like the house elf that we see is a bartender. So I feel like they treat magical beings as magical beings, but they still don't treat them on the same level as other wizards and witchcraft.
No, but considerably better than like most people of color were treated in the 1920s.
Yeah,
very true. But the thing is, it's other than those like three little inserts, it's like super unclear. Like, okay, so goblins get wands in America. Cool. House elves don't appear to be, I mean, I don't know. Actually, we don't know about house elves because that bartender could have been what's his name's house elf that he owned.
Yeah.
We don't know that. I want to know that. Why and since we're clearly going back to Britain at some point, probably soon, because it's going to be all Dumbledore and Grindelwald for at least the last couple of movies, like, when are we going to learn more? You know, that some people said, oh, she's taking it slow building this world, but like there was so much left unsaid in this movie that I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it wrapping up in any sort of like logical way before they go back to Europe.
No. All right.
Yeah, there's just too much that Also, I'm sitting there like, and the Erumpment's like going through the zoo, and I'm like, that's not what the zoo looks like.
It is though.
There's not a hippo.
Well, there might not be.
Maybe there was in the 1920s, man. You don't know.
Yeah, true. It was the 1920s.
I don't think it's big enough.
The actual place.
The Central Park Zoo is not big. I don't think it would fit a hippo.
Also, though, like, regardless of, well, that again, though, a small zoo in the 1920s was allowed a lot more leeway in what they could and couldn't do than zoos are now.
True.
But that said, it still confuses me as to why the arampant was going after the hippo when it clearly looks more like a rhinoceros.
I know, maybe he's just into hippos. Jeez.
Don't judge. Don't kink shame.
Yeah.
Don't.
I don't even know if that's kink shaming. It's just like
Yeah, no. Don't judge his preferences.
She went for Jacob, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, he was doused in the pheromones.
Yeah. I mean,
True.
and to be honest, as much as I loved Eddie Redmayne as Newt Scamander, like outside of the issues regarding the way he was like described in like books beforehand, and the fact that Eddie Redmayne looks nothing like a swarthy gentleman, I did like Eddie Redmayne's portrayal of him, but that bit with the arampant where he's like dancing around, I was like, I don't know, it was too much for me.
I loved it. I was like, that is the kind of movie that I wanted to go see. I would have watched like an entire 5 movies of him chasing the world, chasing beasts around the world, to be honest.
Oh no, I love that he was chasing the beasts. I'm just talking about the weird
and try to make friends with them and learning their mating dances, and like I would watch the shit out of that whole series.
It's like the Jack Hanna show, but with Newt Scamander.
Yeah.
Anyway, so these are all like we actually said a lot of good things about this, but this all started with the whole idea of like Ariana Dumbledore being an obscurus, and I think that leads us into Grindelwald pretty easily. I want to ask you guys how we all feel about Johnny Depp as Grindelwald. Personally, I'm like, but like, I also said in my review, kudos to the like writers and producers and whoever else was involved for keeping it secret for so long, because he was in this movie. He showed up at the end. And on top of that, they've apparently supposedly been in talks about it since like 2008. I don't know if I believe that it actually went back that far, but it's definitely been years and years. So, hey, they did a good job of hiding it. And they literally released the news the day before the movie premiered. Yeah. So they knew what they were doing. But, meh.
Okay, anyone?
I didn't love the idea of him because I just don't really like Johnny Depp as a person.
Yeah.
I mean, he has good performances here and there, so as long as he doesn't get too hammy in the later films, I'm probably okay with it. Because I know he can play mean and vicious and like really like evil, but hopefully he doesn't go too hammy.
Oh, my issue is like Johnny Depp hasn't had a good performance in about 10 years. Like,
he hasn't had a non-Johnny Depp.
Yeah, like he just plays Johnny Depp in every movie.
Yeah. I will say, have you guys seen Black Mass?
I have not.
Okay, he plays Whitey Bulger, and the way he the way they made Grindelwald look, he looks like Whitey Bulger, and so he showed up, and I'm just like, dude, really? Like, so I didn't see like Grindelwald. I saw like Johnny Depp.
Plus, it was
with
so
white hair.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely like chunkier Johnny Depp with white hair.
Yeah. It's just like. Plus, it was so disappointing because Colin Farrell, right, was literally had the best performance in the whole movie.
Yeah, he was. Really.
Yeah,
like, he was so good. And then it's like it's revealed that it's Johnny Depp, and it's like, oh man.
Yeah. And I had a lot of issues with that too, because I'm sitting there and I'm like, was he like, is he a real person, or was he pretending to be him, or was like, how long did he exist like that?
I don't know.
How long was he pretending to be Graves? Like, what happened to the real Graves?
It sucks because like the best developed, best performed character in the movie wasn't real. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it was hard to tell by the articles, but like, if he wasn't if he was never a real person, that would be shocking to me. If Graves was never a real person, that would be shocking to me, because based on like the script, I couldn't really see the headlines and stuff whizzing by on the screen, but based on the script, if Grindelwald was in the United States, it wasn't for more than a couple years. And if that's the case, like, how did he get to be head of the Auror office at Makusa? You know what I mean? Like, I have to imagine that Graves was a real person, and was Grindelwald masquerading as him, is how, I'm not sure who wrote it. Jamie, maybe, or
Yeah.
That
was all my stuff.
Yeah. So, and this is something that we had talked about. Like, was it Polyjuice Potion? If so, then Graves has to still be alive.
Yeah.
That's good. More Colin Farrell. Yes.
But I don't think he is, because the way. The way in the script, especially, it was like, it said something like with a special appearance by Colin Farrell, or like guest appearance. But the way he was like listed in the script made me think that we're not going to see him again.
He was the best though. He was so good.
Well, he was the best, but the funny thing was, it's like, he wasn't the best at playing Graves. He was the best at playing Grindelwald playing Graves, and now we got to be relegated to Johnny Depp.
Well, the thing is, when I saw it the second time, my boyfriend pointed out, oh, he's doing all these Depp things, and I was like, ah, you're right, and I couldn't it. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. He's playing Grindelwald playing Graves.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool to me. Once I was like, okay, it's not that bad. I don't hate it. But
10 out of 10, Oscar to
once I realized it, I was like, oh, you're right.
Colin Farrell. Would bang.
10-10 would bang.
What was his name? Percival Graves, right?
Yes.
I think, yeah.
So it was not a Percival, or like, because that just makes me think Percy, you know?
I'm head boy.
Well, see, that makes me think that maybe like Graves, before he was Grindelwald, was like super Percy. Like, maybe he wasn't even this like bad boy. He was like this like pencil pusher or something.
There's also a theory that he might be connected to Dumbledore, because Dumbledore's full name has the name Percival in it.
Ah.
Well,
Like Albus Brian Percival Wilfred Dumbledore or something.
Yeah, it's Albert Percival.
Yeah.
Albus, sorry. Albus Percival
Okay.
Wilfred Brian. Yeah.
So basically, no one's happy about Johnny Depp. Obviously, they cast him a while ago. Whether it was 10 years ago, or 8 years ago, or not.
yeah. I
It was
doubt
a
it
while
was
ago.
8 years ago. Even if talks began in 2008, my guess is he wasn't signed on for anything until a couple of years after that. But yeah.
I mean, obviously, it was cast before the allegations that he beat his wife came out. But still,
Yeah.
they could just recast him. Like, I wouldn't be bothered, to be honest.
Replace him with Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, just the next movie, just have him be Colin Farrell and like don't say anything.
He obviously will need to be in disguise for all the time. So there you go. Just keep having different people do it.
Well, I mean, and this is the one thing where it's like, I don't like it, but yeah, Grindelwald would be the person who had the magic to disguise himself as a dead person for a long time, you know? I think
No, apparently it was Polyjuice Potion. There's an interview online from the producer, and he says that Colin's character was using Polyjuice Potion.
Okay. So that
Polyjuice
means
Potion.
that Graves is still alive, which makes it weird to me that they made it look like I said, as they listed his name in the printed script, made it look like he was only going to be making an appearance in this movie. If y'all have a copy of the book, it says something. It's got the list of major casts at the end, and he is like the last name, and it's something like guest appearance by or special appearance by.
Well, if you leave, because he leaves New York, so maybe they'll just be like, oh, he's just not in New York, so we just never see these people again.
Yeah. Well, but some of them obviously we're gonna see again, but
well, yeah.
But yeah, no. But that's sad because I'd like to know more about him. Okay. So real quick, obviously we all kind of feel the same about Graves and Colin Farrell and Johnny Depp. Female representation was like the biggest thing that I had a complaint about. Like, dude, I'm a white girl, so like I know there were problems with representation as a whole, but I really personally have no business talking about Harlem in the 1920s and how it wasn't cast properly for that sort of setting. It is a problem. I just don't have the knowledge to argue about it one way or the other. I am on the side of it. Generally, Harry Potter still needs more, like, better representation with people of color. But the female representation in this one was such a disappointment because, like, it's like I loved the characters, but Tina, to me, was nothing more than a plot device. Queenie is amazing. She's a freaking more accomplished Legolamens than like if not like Snape and Voldemort, then like she's such an accomplished Legolamens, and she's working in the wand permit office, and like there's no explanation of why she would be there when she's clearly like intelligent and a strong witch.
Well,
and then
they're
like
caricatures, they're not real characters.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, and Serafina, the Makusa president's like, yay, they have a female president. And then we watch the movie, boo, she is pretty much completely inept and kind of annoying.
Yeah. How did you not know that? Like, obviously, that was what got me. I was like, what was Graves like before that nobody knew that Grindelwald was masquerading as him? Like, surely somebody who knew him would have been like, wait a minute, that's weird.
Well, I mean, and his ideas, like, I can only imagine that his ideas, like, were different when it was Grindelwald masquerading as him. Like, because there were moments where they seemed kind of like, huh, what's he doing? But most of them were at the end, right before Newt revealed who he was. And it's like, I don't know.
Wouldn't that have shown up? Somebody using Polyjuice Potion all the time? Wouldn't that have shown up on the little magical detector thingy?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's like, how did Fred and George not notice that Peter Pettigrew was hanging out in Hogwarts all the time on the Marauders map? We'll never know.
Well, they probably weren't looking.
They probably didn't even know who Peter Pettigrew was. They probably just
It's true, it is Fred and George.
I mean, in part 4, no one actually knew that it wasn't Mad-Eye Moody. Like, Albus didn't even know that the Mad-Eye Moody they had in part 4 was actually a person, drinking Polyjuice Potion.
Because Mad-Eye Moody's so crazy.
That's true.
Oh yeah, that was the other big like recycled plot point where I was like, come on now. That I couldn't remember earlier. It was like really bad guy uses Polyjuice Potion to masquerade as good guy.
And an horror, because Moody was an
horror. Exactly.
I don't, and like, by the way, Grindelwald's like whole plan is like, I mean, how do you not like reveal magic to Muggles? Like, they did it in that movie by accident. Like, it's so easy to do. Like, what has he been doing? He's like the worst dark wizard ever. Like, what?
I mean, yeah, like, I always thought it was because we just didn't know enough about him, but like at this point, it's another another Voldemort storyline, and we already know how it's going to end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we don't know. I don't think we know. Like, there's talk about Dumbledore and Grindelwald having this awesome, amazing fight. But no one actually was there. Maybe they just kissed and made up, and then Grindelwald just gave up with the Elder Wand. We don't even know what that epic fight was.
You're right.
Maybe it was a sexy.
We don't know how it ends.
Grindelwald.
I want to see a slap fight.
I like to think that Grindelwald doesn't actually want to end the world because he's doing a terrible job of it. So I think he's just trying to get Dumbledore's attention.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Wait, like, remember
Yeah.
when he got super mad because like Dumbledore was like vouching for Newt, and he was
Yeah.
like, why
He
does
was jealous.
Dumbledore?
Like I could sense the jealousy from him.
What is
Like what is between you and Albus that he saved you from, getting expelled or like whatever from Hogwarts? And what was Newt's reply that he wasn't sure what they had between them? Like what was it? Like Newt replied to that.
Like I don't. Yeah.
I can't remember.
He said he kind of said a couple things, and then he said something about like, I'm not one of Grindelwald's crazy followers, like something about, and then he said something about like for the greater good or whatever like that. But I don't know that Newt knew at that point yet.
I didn't think he did.
At the very most, he thought that Graves was not a good guy who was possibly like one of Grindelwald's followers. Like he certainly didn't know the truth, but yeah, I mean, and that kind of leads us into the last bit, is whether or not Newt Scamander did Hufflepuff justice. Is anybody else here a Hufflepuff? Am I the only one?
Ravenclaw. Sorry.
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor. What are you, Freed?
Gryffindor.
Wow. So we got 2 Gryffindors and 2 Ravenclaws, and then me, the lone Hufflepuff. But still, like, you guys know about Hufflepuff and everything. Like, I'm pretty cool with Newt. Like, I think that the trailers portrayed him as more of like a bumbling idiot than he actually was in the movie. I hope that other people see that as well. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I thought he was just awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously very intelligent.
He was awkward. He was smart.
Yeah.
He was just awkward. He wasn't an idiot.
He's probably like a Huffleclaw.
Like, I mean, he's just a super nerd that really loves his creatures more than people and doesn't know how to make friends. Like, he makes friends by like
he makes friends by being exactly who he is, and then when it's sort of like what he says to Jacob in the end, when Jacob's like, Newt only kept me around because, wait a minute, why did you keep me around? And Newt's like, because you are my friend, and I enjoyed spending time with you. And that is like the most Hufflepuff thing to say. Like he's awkward and he doesn't expect to make friends, but he does because he's just kind of a good guy. And when he does make those friends, he's like, he trusts all of them, even Tina, after she kind of screws him over a little bit. He trusts all of them.
Yeah, he's such a nice guy. I like him. I mean, I wish he had better characterization and like we knew more about him in like a movie, but that's fine. We knew more about him than we did about the girls, so.
I saw way too many comparisons where everybody was just like, "Oh, he's just a rehash of the 11th Doctor," and I don't like it.
No, he's not. He's nothing like the 11th Doctor.
Really? Other than the whole awkwardness and wears a big overcoat.
Yeah.
Lots of people wear. Captain Jack wears an overcoat. I mean, seriously.
Oh yes, I'm a Hufflepuff. I'm Captain Jack.
What else? People, I mean, there are legitimate criticisms of this movie. That's not really one of them. I think he was a pretty good Hufflepuff.
I do too. I was worried going into it, and when I came out of it, I was like, no, he's. I mean, and he's been traveling for a year and learning about all these beasts and these creatures, and like, and making them, he's learning about them to be close to them. Sort of like if you get a pet that's not like a cat or a dog, like a less, popular pet or whatever, or possibly an exotic pet, you learn all about, if you're a good pet owner, you learn all about that animal so that you are caring for it properly. And it's like that's what he's doing, and that's his hard work. I don't know. I liked him. I was pleasantly surprised after the trailers.
I liked all 4. So
yeah, I want to know what at least what Ilvermorny houses Tina and Queenie are in. Like I
feel like Tina's in Horned Serpent.
Tina would be a Slytherin. Tina is a Slytherin.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying in an Ilvermorny.
Yeah. I don't know enough
Slytherin.
about I personally, I've read all the stuff, but I don't know enough about the Ilvermorny houses to place anybody there. But like with everything I've read about Hogwarts houses, I would put Tina in Slytherin and Queenie in Hufflepuff. I originally thought Gryffindor for Queenie, but then like the Lego Lemons thing and the way she uses it is very Hufflepuff.
After we made them cocoa.
Also food, because that's all we
Yeah.
Hufflepuffs are about.
Strudel?
Anyway, so last year we don't usually do entire webcasts about one particular thing, but this is a big movie. When we did our Star Wars holiday special last year, we closed it by saying that we never wanted to end that particular webcast because we wanted to talk about The Force Awakens forever. Clearly we have a lot to say about Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, but not on that level. So I know, Jesse, you already said you've seen the movie twice. Does anybody else plan on seeing it a second time in theaters?
No.
I might if I can. I might just to see if I could catch some of the stuff.
Yeah.
That I missed before, and also because I didn't pay for it, and I feel like I should go because I saw an advanced screening, which in New York is always free. So I feel like I should go and contribute.
Yeah, my thing on it.
It made you $20 million, Jamie. You don't need to contribute anything.
Yeah, my thing is like if I have time somehow within the next few weeks to go see like a matinee, even if it's by myself, I don't give a crap about that. So like if I have a free afternoon and I can go see a matinee and have a better seat, there's a decent chance I'll go see it again, simply because I know there was a lot of stuff I missed. But that if I had better seats, there would be no like second theater seeing for me.
I should have gone because I'm in a Harry Potter group here in New York, and obviously like they all went, and they went to the Carnegie Hall thing that I couldn't go to because I had a death in the family, and
Aww.
well, I had a ticket and then I had to sell it because the memorial was that weekend, and I'm very upset about that. Obviously can't do anything about that. Yeah, but so they all went to that, and it was like they had a whole weekend because I mean the group that I'm in, they cosplay for no reason, and so everybody went in cosplay, and then there was a group that went on Thursday again, and they went in cosplay. So I should have gone then, but that was literally the day after I'd seen it. So I was like, no, that's okay. But if like when you see it in a group like that, it's a different experience than like I went by myself. So
Yeah.
All right.
Unless they go again.
So in conclusion, a real quick question. Let's start with, we'll go Free, Jamie, Jesse, Vaughn, and then me. What was your favorite creature in this movie? And what creature do you hope to see in future films?
The Niffler, favorite creature, and I would like to see how's it pronounced? Like the Manticore? A Manticore?
Yeah,
Manticore.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
I also enjoyed the Niffler and Frank, the Thunderbird. And in the future, like, oh man, I don't know. I'd like to go to. I hope he goes to like an Asian country and to see maybe like a Kappa or something. That would be cool. That's
Oh
Japanese.
God, I do not want to see J.K. Rowling do an Asian country.
That's the American was bad enough. The American was bad
That's true.
I really liked Picky the Bowtruckle, and because they never showed it in any of the original Harry Potter movies, I kind of want to see Blast and Scroot, because why not? Why not?
Yeah, they are.
Is it my turn now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Bowtruckle as well. And I don't know what I want to see. I'm just happy to see any creatures. More creatures. Less whatever, everything else. More creatures.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I like the Niffler, but I think at times it was a little bit like over the top with him. But I still like him a lot. But yeah, Pickett, the Bowtruckle was my fave. I think it was just the separation anxiety issues. I was like, oh God, that's my dog. Like if my dog could fit in my pocket, I would never go anywhere without him.
That was, I teared up in the movie when it looked like Newt was gonna give away Pickett. Like that's when I started crying.
Literally,
I was like, what are you doing?
I would have been mad, except I knew that there was no way in hell he would do that.
Yeah.
It was literally like, and this is just because I'm picturing like me in that position, and I'm like, oh, I would trick the shit out of this guy. Sort of like Dany giving up one of her dragons in Game of Thrones. Like, she gonna tease it, but it ain't gonna happen. But yeah, no. So Pickett was definitely my favorite creature. I would like to see a Puckwudgie, because what the fuck is a Puckwudgie?
My Ilvermorny house.
Yeah, like mine is Thunderbird, so I got to see it, and it's like there seems to be a better description of the horned serpent and the other thing that's some sort of cat. But like,
Wampus.
oh, the Wampus guy, yeah.
Wampus.
But what the hell is a Puckwudgie? Why
I don't
did
know.
we
It's mine as
see-
well.
Yeah, I want to know what that is. I like the name. I feel like probably I'd end up in Puckwudgie if I hadn't ended up in this Thunderbird house. I think it's my anger that makes me a Thunderbird.
Yeah, he was just basically described as like a grumpy, like gnome type thing, and I was like, okay, so I'm in the grumpy gnome house. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to see a Puckwudgie. But yeah, so that's about it for tonight. Unless does anybody have any final thoughts before we close it?
How did
wanted
the
to
rain
ask-
not affect anybody else?
What, Fareed?
I wanted to ask, like in canon, I guess in the story it says that when a wizard, like what's it called, apparts or like teleports or whatever it's called, when a wizard does that,
Apparates.
apparates, there's supposed to be a loud pop, right?
Yeah.
In
It's
canon.
really in the original movies though, so
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
It wasn't, and I'm like, Muggles would have heard those popping sounds everywhere.
Yeah.
Like
It's
they
a
were popping
bad
in the
thing.
bank, they were popping in the alleyways, and I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but if you
well-
hear a weird popping noise in an alleyway, do you look?
And to be fair, it's New York City. We're trained to not pay attention to stuff like that.
That's true.
You just go, nope, I'm not looking in that direction.
Nope, 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 nope.
Did anybody else have final thoughts?
my one thing about this movie is that I really wish we could get a different director than David Yates. I am so tired
agree,
of
yeah.
his aesthetic now. I'm just like, please, anybody else.
Oh yeah, how the Obscurus flying through everything looked exactly like the Dementors in Half-Blood Prince, the beginning of Half-Blood Prince. I think it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, over it. I agree. Very good point.
Oh gosh, that's food at the end of my rope.
All right, Jamie, did you have?
Yeah, my thing was the whole rain at the end to make everybody forget, because Obliviate affects wizards.
Yeah.
So how were they just strolling in the rain and nobody's having any problems with it? Like, what's going on there?
Maybe it wasn't. The only thing I can think of, and I didn't notice, is if it wasn't it has to touch your skin or get inside of you somehow, because like Queenie had like popped up an umbrella, and like the Aurors all had hats. I don't remember if they had gloves, but like I don't think they're saying that that this serum or whatever it was, like I don't think it works exactly like an Obliviate, like the charm. I think it's just the way it's described is to get rid of
bad memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not, and it may also have a stronger effect on non-magical people. It is definitely a weird little plot loophole that could have been described better, though. I agree.
I just the whole destroying the city thing is just I'm over it. It's like in every movie, it's so stupid, and I just
but it's
always
at least
they
in this
fix
one,
it at the end.
yeah, they just have the
They use
Reparo
Reparo.
charm.
Like the Marvel people don't even do anything after destroying cities.
Neither
I
does
know,
DC.
but it's like it's just such a boring climax to a movie, and I just hate it.
I just hate that the Obscurus looked so much like the Dementors in the last couple movies, just like flying around as like a black cloud destroying things for no reason.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, Vaughn is falling asleep. We have been going for almost an hour and 15 minutes, which is a little bit beyond our usual. So I am Tara, along with Vaughn, who also hosts our monthly Feelings with the Geekiary webcast, and special guests for Reed, Jamie, and Jesse. Thank you guys again for joining us for Feelings with the Geekiary, the fantastic feelings and where to find them special webcast. Remember, we are a free webcast run off of donations from viewers like you. So thank you for contributing and helping our host site, The Geekiary, and we will hopefully see you in December. I'm not sure if it'll be a regular Feelings episode or a Rogue One episode first, probably Rogue One. So yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Thank you for watching and have a great night.
Happy Thanksgiving.